everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am just getting ready for work, so I thought I would just film a wee video whilst I'm getting ready. Why not? I did come into this video kind of not having a clue what I was doing, like I didn't have a look created in my head, so this is what I've ended up with. I was using the beautiful Juvia palette, the Zulu palette, which has got these amazing bold colours in it. Yeah, it's quite... There's a lot of techniques in here for you to create this look. I won't lie, it wasn't the easiest look to do. So if you are kind of just starting out in your makeup journey, then certainly this might be a hard look for you to recreate. But you know what, you're going to pick up loads of tips and tricks anyway, and it's always just fun to watch looks like this getting done. Even if you know yourself, you would never in a million years wear something as dramatic as this. So if you want to see just how I created this look, then stay tuned. So I'm starting off with my Lancome Sills Booster, which is just a lash primer, and I'm going to run this through the brows just to make sure that I'm really getting the brows super fluffy. Now don't worry, this goes on really white, but it does sink into the brows and dry and clear. And what you'll see is I'm brushing backwards on myself so that I'm really getting that kind of like spiky, fluffy finish to the top of my brows. Okay, I've zoomed in a wee bit more, so can you see how the brows are kind of all standing up the way and they're looking really nice and fluffy? Now I want to get that definition underneath, so I'm going in with my MAC Deep Dark Brunette Brow Gel, Fluid Line Brow Cream. So this is basically just a dupe for Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm just going in with my MAC 209S angled brush, and I'm literally just going to take a nice sharp line all the way along the base, like underneath my brow, just to give me a bit more definition and sharpness there. With this, don't worry if you kind of fuck up your line a wee bit. We're going to be carving out the underneath anyway, so that's the perfect opportunity to be able to clean up any mess or any bits that you've bumped by accident, so really don't worry too much about doing this. So you see I've got a nice sharp line there, and then just kind of flick that line upwards with the flat of my brush so that it blends into the hairs. Then once you've got the brows drawn on, I'm going on with my NYX mascara for the brows, and this is just in the shade black. Don't worry, it actually isn't black, it is a dark brown. And I'm literally just very lightly skimming into the roots of the lash, so kind of more along that line that we've just drawn, just to make sure that any wee bits of the lash primer that we put on that are maybe still looking a wee bit white or haven't dried in completely clear, we're just making sure that we're covering them and giving our brow hairs as much volume and fluffiness as possible. Now I know someone is going to comment underneath this video and say, your brows don't look fluffy. Honestly, for me who has really thick wiry hairs, like if you look along the top here, my brow is as fluffy as I can physically ever get it. Like I will never be able to get my particular hairs fluffier than this. So for me this is fluffy. If you don't have really thick brow hairs, then your hairs will look properly feather-like and fluffy with this technique. I am then going to go on with my Pro Longwear Concealer by MAC in shade NW15, and I'm going to use this to carve out all underneath my brow and set my lid as well. I'm going to do that with my ultimate favourite brush for this. I have used this many a time in my videos, and this is the... oh god, it's rubbed off. It's the MAC 275, I believe, off the top of my head, and you'll see it's kind of like a flat triangular shaped brush. I just love this brush for carving it underneath because I can really use the flat edge of the brush to get that nice crisp line. And this is where I'm cleaning up any wee bumps or any mess that I've made by accident. And then you'll see I just extend that out the outside before then just pulling that concealer down over my lid. Oh, the angle I'm doing this at today, so you guys can see in camera, is making things super difficult for me. I'd normally be able to do this a lot faster than I am just now. Then using my ring finger, I'm just taking the excess concealer all over my entire lid. So, for today's look, we are using the Zulu by Juvia's palette. You'll see the packaging's absolutely amazing. And then when you open it up, you are left with these amazing bold colours. So what we're using is these, well, I would say these two kind of tealy blue colours here and here. And then we're going to be using the purple colour down here. So these are the three colours we're going to be using for today's look. And I'm creating the most of the look. You'll see I've done one eye started off already with the MAC 221S brush, which is a very small kind of blending brush. It's almost like if you took a pencil brush and like pulled it out so that it was a wee bit longer, and then it would naturally start to get a bit fluffier. That is the brush I'm creating most of the look with today. So we are going to go in with this greeny tealy colour here. And we're just starting by pressing the pigment in to the crease. I've not set that base, by the way, that concealer base, I've not set it. So you see I'm just really patting that on in a nice rounded motion right down to the inner corner of the eye, coming right round to the outer corner. And then I'm just very lightly starting to buff and blend that eyeshadow upwards like so. And then once I've buff and blended it all out, I'm then going back in and I'm just starting to really build up the colour, the same colour, and I'm just really starting to build it up so that it's a lot darker and intense and at the crease, especially up here at the inner corner. Until you're left with something that looks like so, which I know I have taken it really quite high, but I'm going to be cutting all this crease out just now anyway, so it's really just to ensure that when the brows are relaxed you can see the colour above it and it gives you a nicer effect with the cut crease. So to cut the crease I'm going back in with that MAC Pro Longwear concealer in shade NW15, and I'm going back in with that same 275 brush, is that what I said it was? Yeah, that same 275 brush from MAC, and I'm just going to start cutting my crease. So I'm using nice dabbing motions to cut the crease perfectly. So then when I'm filling in along the lid, I'm really just patting, building up the concealer. And the reason I'm patting is so that the teal eyeshadow from underneath doesn't mix in as much to change the colour of the concealer. And then what I'm going to do just to the outside of the cut there is wing it out ever so slightly. So that you've got something that looks like this, which is intense to do, honestly. So I'm going to go on and set. Now, there's one thing that they don't have in this Juvia's palette that I would have liked, and that is a white or a really pale colour. Do you know what I mean? There isn't one there. So I am going to go on and cheat ever so slightly. And it's the only shadow I'm using that isn't from this palette, and I'm going to use my white eyeshadow Sex from Illamasqua just to set all of that inner half of the cut crease. And to do that I'm going on with my MAC 239 flat synthetic brush, and you'll see I'm really just lining up my brush, and again I'm patting to set this concealer into place. So you should be left with something that looks like this. Now I know it doesn't look amazing at the moment, but trust me, it will. So next we're going to go on with this colour here, which is this kind of light frosted teal tone. So it's a very similar tone to this one, it's just lighter and it's not matte, it's got a much frostier finish. And we're keeping that same 221S brush that we used for all of the crease so far. And I'm literally just going to go on and start blending this along the lash line. And if you struggle with colours like that, then you can go on with your finger and really pack on the colour first. Do you know what I mean? So you're getting it really nice and intense on there before then taking your brush as well and just lightly blending out the sides. Okay, so next, because this look is not extra enough already, I'm going to go on and just cut out and line over the white with my Urban Decay Heavy Metals glitter liner. So you should now be left with something that looks a little bit like this. I think that glitter makes a really big difference to it. Now, I don't know why I'm doing it, I feel like I'm just constantly adding another stage. Let's just take this look. Do you know what, it's already extra, so let's just take it that one stage further and add a flick. I don't know why I started this. Don't know why I started this look. So I'm going to go on with my NYX or NYX liquid liner, matte liquid liner. This, I mean, I think I use it in almost every video. It's without a doubt the best liquid liner out there. Like, I just love it. It's got such a fine tip, like it dries down super matte and you can just get that definition. Like it's just, I think it's just easier. So we're going to create like a flat flick. So I'm coming along on the outside with a straight line first of all. So literally a straight line, do you see that? And then I'm bringing my outer corner up to meet it. So that I've created a triangle on the outside of my eye. I'm then going to come up from the inner corner. Like so. And then I quite simply bring this corner down to meet here. And then I colour it in. Unless you've ever done a flick on camera, you will never understand how hard it is to do a flick on camera, making sure that you guys can still see what I'm doing. And so you'd be left with a flick that looks something like this. And I shall attempt the other side. Okay, so once you've got both sides looking the exact same, you'll be left with something that looks like this. I think it actually finishes it off. So whilst I was off camera, I did just apply mascara. I just used the MAC Extreme Dimension 3D black mascara and I've only applied that to the top lashes. And then I used a little makeup wipe just to kind of clean up under the flick so that there's no green underneath the eye area. And this is what you'll be left with. So we will of course be adding false lashes and so on, but what I'm going to do before we do the under eyes is I'm going to go and throw on a very quick complexion and I will be straight back to do the under eyes, the false lashes and the lip. Okay, so now that we've got the complexion on, I'm going to go on and line my waterline underneath. So for this I'm going in with my Makeup Forever number I-90 purple waterproof kohl pencil and I'm just going to take that in the waterline all the way along the bottom. I think the purple against this green underneath is going to look Stunning. So then I'm very simply just going to go on with the purple at the bottom corner of the Juvia's palette, and I'm just going to buff that out underneath. What am I going to use for that? I'm going to go on first with a MAC pencil brush and then with a clean 221S brush to blend it out. So I'm using the pencil brush and I'm literally pressing the shadow into the lower lashes. Just so that I'm really packing the pigment on there. And then just with my clean 221S brush, I'm literally just going to blend that out quite low underneath. And then to finish off the eyes, I'm going to go on with this. This was a limited edition mascara. It's just a purple mascara called Cool Down by MAC. But, I mean, so many places do purple mascaras. You'll get your hands on one of these easy. And I'm going to load the lower lashes with that. And then final stage of the eyes, adding my false lash. This is just a wee K32 lash by Hollywood Lashes. And there, this eye look is complete. So there we have it, that is the final look. So all I done was finished off the lips with Whirl lip liner by MAC and Blank to lipstick by MAC. So really it's just a kind of very kind of slightly pinky, cool toned nude. You don't want anything too much on the lips to detract away from this. So yeah, that is of course the look. I know it was pretty advanced, I won't lie. There was a couple of stages when I was doing it that I was like, oh my god, why am I doing this? But anyway, I think it's turned out quite nice. I am quite happy with the results of it. So if you liked this tutorial and you liked this video, then definitely give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button below, and give us a wee comment and share as well, just with all the hard work, you know, that went into this look. So also, if you want to see other looks of mine that are as equally as dramatic, then definitely get me on Instagram as well, which I'll put here. So yeah, until next time, thanks for watching.